On this episode, we're back with our Fab Five series, and this time we're focusing on bars and lounges. Today is May 23rd, 2022. This is episode 463 of the Main Street Magic Podcast.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I'm your host, Jeremy Stein, and I'm joined by my lovely wife, Rhonda.
Hey, guys.
Make sure you check us out on the web at mainstmagic.com, as well as follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at mainstmagic. If you've not done so already, head out to Facebook and search for the Main Street Magic community and ask to join. Then if you hit that subscribe button, you're going to get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. Lost Princess Apparel is bringing you magically themed clothing and accessories, including super comfy leggings and pop culture jerseys. You can check them out at msmfriends.com, along with our additional partners. Then finally, if you're getting ready to plan your next Disney or Universal vacation, looking to go on a cruise, or pretty much travel anywhere else in the world, head to mainstmagictravel.com and fill out a form for a free quote. Our travel services are completely free to you. So we're continuing our Fab Five series. This is actually a listener suggestion.
Oh, okay.
And I apologize, listener, because I did not jot down your name when you suggested it, but you know who you are. So feel free to retweet or comment or whatever. So again, my apologies, but we're going to do bars and lounges, but okay. With everything, we didn't want to just say, all right, what's your top five? Because then that's a top five episode. So
right.
In true fashion of the other episodes, we are not going to pick one at Magic Kingdom because there aren't any. But we're going to pick one from Epcot, one from Hollywood Studios, one from Animal Kingdom, one from Disney Springs, and then one from all the resorts.
Okay.
What
Technically, Magic Kingdom has where you'd have to sit down at Skipper Canteen to get a drink.
Yeah. I mean, you can sit at Be Our Guest. You can sit at Cinderella Royal Table, the Plaza, Tony's. But none of them, here's one of the rules, is that it just has to be or have a bar. Yeah. Like technically,
and none of these have a bar, unfortunately.
Right. None of them do. So we weren't going to pick there. But when you think of bars and lounges, you think of the traditional sense. But technically, if you got to the resort one and you wanted to pick the bar at California Grill, you could.
Right. Well, since we're on the subject, what would you have picked at Magic Kingdom? Because I know which one I would pick.
As far as just a place to sit down and get a drink?
Yeah.
Skipper Canteen.
Okay.
Why? What would you pick?
Be Our Guest.
Be Our Guest? Yeah.
Because then I'd get dinner.
Yeah.
And it would just be fun.
That would be fun. We still need to do dinner there
at
some point. We'll maybe look this summer since we've got several trips coming up.
Yeah.
What is the other rule, Rhonda? Because we wanted to make it a little more fun.
Well, we cannot pick the same one. So I've got two.
Yeah, we each came up with two, just in case. And we're literally going to flip a coin each time to see who goes first.
You have a coin.
No, I don't have one on me. So is there one within reach? Or hold on, let me bring up the coin app.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, there's a coin app literally on computer. Look at this. It's literally coinapp.co, and it will randomly, it should randomly flip a coin. Nope, that one does not work. Let's look at what else there is. As you guys are just here, maybe I should Google flip a coin. This is the magic happening as it happens.
Oh, Lord of mercy.
As opposed to us being prepared. Look, here's literally a coin you can just flip. Right? Okay, so first up is Epcot. Each time, why don't you just be heads and I'll be tails?
Okay.
All right, so we're going to do our very first flip to see who picks Epcot. It is tails. I get to go first.
Okay.
And I am going to, and I will say the reason we came up with not being able to pick the same one is I just have a feeling we would pick a lot of the same ones.
Okay.
And so I just wanted to make it a little more fun. I'm going to go with Tutti Gusto.
Oh.
As my bar and lounge at Epcot. You know, we love this place.
I'm shocked.
I know what you probably have, and it's my second pick, I think. But Tutti Gusto is such an awesome spot to take a break, to sit in the AC. It's kind of dark in there a little bit. It just has this wonderful, like, Italian basement wine cellar feel. Of course, the spaghetti and meatballs there, we absolutely love. You know, during cooler Florida, in the 1 week that we have winter, they've got a fireplace going in there. You can sit on the couch. The service is always really good, and they're very knowledgeable. You can get meat
Especially
plates.
if Marco's working.
Yeah, especially if Marco's working. You can either walk up to the bar
Yep.
and get a drink to go.
Yep.
Or again, you can sit somewhere. Meat plates, cheese plates, all kinds of good Italian food.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I ended up with Tutti Gusto.
Wow.
What was your pick? And was
What do you
Tutti
think it
Gusto a
is?
backup? Rose and Crown.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, actually, what my backup is Space 220.
Oh man, that is a really, really good one. The lounge there is perfect.
I really enjoyed the last time we went up there and sat at the bar.
ever.
It was so fun. And it's a great, you just sit at the bar and you can eat some food if you want, or you can just have a couple of drinks. And I really, really enjoyed that. I wouldn't mind trying that again.
Oh, we're going to try again here soon. And I think that's the only reason it didn't make either of my two picks is it's just so dang hard to get into.
Yeah.
So I wanted something accessible. Why did you pick Rose and Crown? And then I'll let you know why it was my number 2 and not my number 1, even though it's clearly our favorite bar.
Yeah.
In Epcot.
Well, we always stop by and, we see Holly and Charlotte and just, I don't know. It's always been where we've stopped in, and you can just stand around if you want in there.
It's back to that.
It's back to that.
There's a couple pub tables back.
Mm-hmm. I think they were pulling everything back in, which is nice. And we usually just kind of go in and get it to go, but still it's just nice. And I don't know, I love it in there. And it reminds me of Gary and Claire, and I miss them. So yeah.
Yeah. The only reason I didn't pick it is because it's just not a place that we hang at.
Okay.
We're always kind of grab and go, but I will say, and another one's going to come up on my list just from our own experience. But to me, Rose and Crown is possibly the most communal bar on property. Like I think you'd be hard pressed to be in there for 30 minutes or more and not make a new friend.
Yeah.
With another guest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's just something about the atmosphere and the vibe. It is so small that you're going to end up standing next to someone. You're going to say, hey, what's up? And probably strike up a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the reasons I absolutely love it. But Tutti Gusto, we've actually just hung out at.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason it kind of barely beat out Rose and Crown for me.
I get that.
But we are going to move on next to Hollywood Studios, flipping the coin. And again, it's tails, and I get to go first. I think we're going to have something very similar where my second pick, I think, is your first pick. Because my first pick is going to be Oga's Cantina.
Okay.
Why? It's Oga's Cantina. It's freaking Oga's Cantina.
Yeah.
I'd rate it up there with like the Trader Sam's of the world. It is so incredibly themed. Yes, it's ridiculously expensive. I think it is a place you want to go in and maybe just stick to one drink a person and maybe get their Batu bits or something to snack on if you've never had it, but you're not going to do that every time.
Right.
Because again, you almost can't walk out of that place without spending $100, with tip, I feel like, but there's no other atmosphere like it. And kind of like a Rose and Crown, it may be the second most communal bar because the chances are very likely because they're stuffing that place full. You're going to sit or stand next to a stranger.
Right.
And you're in a proximity where you might want to go ahead and just make a new buddy.
Yeah.
Right. So what was your first pick then?
What do you think?
Hollywood Brown Derby Lounge.
Actually, that was my second one.
Oh, wow. That's why, I almost went with that one.
I did Baseline Tap House.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
Because we love Mike. We go in there. And there's been plenty of times where we've sat and hung out. Lucy and Caleb.
There's that one table that'll sit about, 6 to 8 people there right off the bar. Yeah.
Yep. And it's just fun. And you can sit outside. It has been warmer lately when we've been there. So we did try to sit inside. And then one time we were in there and it started raining, which was nice because then we just sat and had a drink and super nice. And I just really enjoy that one because I like sitting outside too and kind of people watching. But yeah, Brown Derby Lounge was my second because it's, we don't really know anybody. We just go and we just sit and enjoy and relax.
I think Brown Derby Lounge is extremely underrated and underthought of and undermentioned. Yeah, I think. But it is such a wonderful spot. But the only problem with Brown Derby Lounge is that it's all outdoors, so the weather better be good.
Right.
Whether that's temperature or no rain.
Right.
But food is amazing.
Yep.
You can get the full Brown Derby menu, or they
Which
have
is
their own
super
separate
cool.
menu,
Right.
which is really, really good. You can get like a taste of the Cobb salad. You don't technically have to get the big giant one. We've had the sliders there. They used to have like little, I think, tuna tacos. Like they have the martini flight, margarita flights.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really
Yep.
good one. But yeah, baseline is pretty tough to beat. I
Yep.
mean, and theming at Oga's is what won it out for me.
Yeah.
But pretzel. It's
Yeah.
the best pretzel and cheese on property, I think. The steak puff.
Oh, that
We
thing
absolutely
is
love.
so good.
Their charcuterie board is great.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really good pick. So I'm glad that we're doing the flip a coin thing, but so far it hasn't really mattered.
Yeah.
I think it's not going to matter until we hit Animal Kingdom. And I hope this lands on heads, so you get your first pick. It is heads. What
Oh,
are you
yay.
picking? I think we have the same first pick.
Actually, Dawa Bar is my first pick.
Is it really?
Yeah.
This episode is blowing my mind. Why Dawa Bar? Specifically for memories or location?
All
or
the above. I mean, because you can get a drink and the performers are back where they're singing and I
Yeah.
guess singing, dancing, like making music, and
Yeah,
it's
that's
so
a really good
cool.
point.
It's right there by the place where all the animals are. The
Kilimanjaro?
track.
Yeah.
Yep,
Oh my
and then
goodness.
another track
Yep.
where you can walk. And then you go around the corner and the Lion King is
Yeah.
there, and
It's such a good spot if you're waiting on your Tusker House table
Yeah.
too.
I love it. It's just it's outdoors, but it's under the cover, so if it's
Yes.
raining or
Yes.
whatever, and it's just nice.
It is, and I like that it's a grab and go, but then you've got tables all right
Right.
there, like you said, that are
Right.
undercover. And the addition of the Streetmosphere being back really does give it an edge. What was your second pick then?
Nomad Lounge.
Okay, that's my first pick.
Yep.
So, I mean, I think Nomad Lounge is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
It's if we literally were
It's
just
just
doing
been a while though.
It has been a while. But if we were literally just doing top 5 bars all across property, I feel like Nomad Lounge is going to make the list of top 5.
Yeah.
I mean, so many memories there. We've
Yeah.
gone with so many people. When we first kind of discovered it ourselves and the girls were much younger,
They loved it.
requested we go to Nomad
Yeah.
Lounge. They loved getting the little coloring pages. They would get the pasta and get the marinara on the side. We would always get some sort of delicious small bites. Their sliders are amazing. I love this place. Inside is wonderful.
Yeah.
We've sat at the bar. It's awesome. We've
Yep.
sat inside. It's awesome.
Yep.
Nothing beats sitting out on those couches
Yes.
next to Joe Rohde,
Uh-huh.
which we've also done. And now that, they still have the passing pontoon boats all the
Mhm.
time.
That's cool.
So that adds a little entertainment. Surprisingly, my second was actually Yak and Yeti. Even though there's like maybe 6 bar
Huh.
stools,
Okay. Why
there is
that?
a bar
Yeah.
because Yak and Yeti's menu is incredible and you can get the
Oh.
whole menu sitting there.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
true.
if it's just you and I would much rather just sit at the bar and have like a meal than actually say,
Oh, yeah.
2 people, can we get a seat? Whatever.
Yeah.
I
agree.
So yeah, that ended up being my second pick.
Okay.
Dawa just didn't even cross my mind is the funny part.
Huh.
But I really like that pick. It's very out of the box, I feel like. So next, we're going to move on to Disney Springs. And I think we have a lot of good options here. So this one will be interesting. Tails in my favor yet again. And I'm going to Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar.
Okay.
This is another one. I mean, the atmosphere alone, I think, makes this place win.
Yeah.
But then they have incredible food. They have incredible drinks.
Mm-hmm.
They're often having specialties. They're switching up the menu a lot. I think if you go to Disney maybe 2-3 times a year, you could probably, and those are spread out, over 4 months or so, you could probably go to Hangar Bar and see a different menu each of those 2 or 3 visits,
Right.
which I really, really like that they switch it up. What did you pick?
Well, I actually, for my first pick, was CityWorks.
Okay. That's a surprising pick because I feel like it's a new kind of fresh pick because we just went there.
Well, but we've always gone to the bar.
The walk up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're talking specifically the grab and go bar there,
Yeah.
or like how we sat.
But we've
outside.
sat.
Yeah.
I just heard say
Okay, we
we've
can use
sat.
it as a collection.
Well, we've sat at the bar, though. There's a grab and go little line,
Right.
but then there's like 4 seats outside.
Oh yeah.
of the
I mean
bar.
at that part too, but that's the one you're specifically talking about, not where we sat last
Correct.
week. Okay. I like that. Why'd you go with that?
I don't know. I think just because we normally do. My actually second pick was Dockside Margaritas.
Okay.
Because
You're going way off the course of what I thought you would, and I like that.
Okay.
I wouldn't have guessed any of these as your first pick.
Oh,
I literally thought we were going to have pretty much a majority of the same first picks.
Okay. Well, we do not.
That's real. So my second pick was Wine Bar George. Even though we haven't been there in a really long time.
Yeah.
I love that place.
Yeah.
Little thing about CityWorks is there is an app you can download. It is called Bottleneck. And you can sign up there and you immediately will get $10 off your next purchase, which actually includes alcohol. Yeah. We've been able to use it at the walk-up bar to get 2 drinks to go.
Yep.
And then again, it's one of those where, every points that you spend, like for example, we've got a birthday reward coming up for $10.
Yeah,
there's
that
other
must
things
be
in
my
here.
birthday.
Yeah, that must be yours because I think we put it under. We have $10 off our next purchase. We have $5 off of pretzel bites. Or I'm sorry, $5 pretzel bites, not $5 off. Right now, you can redeem for $5 pretzel bites. You can redeem for $5 off any taco entree.
Oh.
And then if we spend $152 more there, we can get $20 off our next purchase.
Wow.
So really good spot. And then I was actually thinking ahead, just while we're doing this episode, maybe closer to August before football season kicks off, I want to do like a top places to watch the game throughout property. And CityWorks, spoiler alert, will most likely make that list.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to move on. You didn't really have any comment on my Jock Lindsay's, though. You have anything to say about my pick? Do you like it?
That's great.
Okay.
No, I mean, yeah.
Do you like Jock Lindsay's?
Yeah, I love it. I love that you can sit out there and almost sit on the water type thing.
In that boat?
Yeah, it's super
That
cool.
is cool.
It is.
One of my favorite Disney memories ever was going there with Lucy and Caleb.
Yeah.
And first of all, their charcuterie pretzel. I may have to take back my previous statement of Baseline having the best pretzel on property because it might be that charcuterie pretzel, but I mean, it's got meats and cheeses all shoved in the little middle parts of it.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
It kind of wins out. Is when we went with them and there was that machine next to us that's making those round ice balls.
Yeah.
And the cast member overheard me
fake.
saying, I thought it was just faking for show. And she slams a cup down on the table with one of the ice balls in it.
Yep.
And I'm like, proved me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That was so fun. And wasn't that the night that it absolutely stormed like crazy while we were in there?
Yes.
And yeah, we had such a good time. I think we did like tacos and sliders and the pretzel and just, we hung out so much longer because the weather was so bad.
Yeah.
And we just sat and talked and
it was fun.
I feel like this is one of the earlier or first times that we were actually at Disney with Lucy and Caleb. As opposed to we were always meeting up to see movies with them.
Probably.
Here at home. So that was that was great. All right. We got one more flip. We got resorts. There are, in the parks, I feel like you've got a small handful to choose from. We kind of just proved because we pretty much talked about the majority of the bars in each of the parks.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a lot now coming into the resorts.
Yep.
I didn't count them, but we're talking a ton of them. Who do you think's going to win, heads or tails?
You.
All right, we're going to flip it now, and it is landing on tails.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to have a surprising pick. Do you want to guess what my pick is or not?
No, because I don't.
Okay. I'm going to go with Bar Riva. What? Was that your first pick?
Yes.
Hey, let me give my couple reasons. I'll give 2 quick reasons.
Okay.
Proximity, location.
Yeah. Yep.
It is one of the most, you could put Banana Cabana up there too. It is one of the most accessible resort bars to get to when you think about being able to get there from multiple other resorts via Skyliner.
Mm-hmm.
Or get there from either Epcot.
So that's your number
or
one
DHS.
reason?
It's my number one reason is proximity. Well, no, that's not my number one reason. It's one major reason.
Chris.
Yeah, I mean, Chris, Marcy, Ken, Athena, Becca, who sadly left to pursue other things. Edwin, used to be there. I mean, we've met so many incredible people there. The food is another big reason, though, I think. Mm-hmm. And the fact, as we talked about last episode, that you can order anything you want off Primo Piatto's menu, which varies slightly between lunch and dinner. Mm-hmm. You go from a croque monsieur to a croque madame, which I want to do the madame next time. We have to get there for dinner time. Why is Bar Riva your number one pick? Do you know how many great bars there are at resorts?
Yeah, my second one. Well,
why'd you pick Bar Riva as your first, even though you're not allowed to officially select it? I mean, all the
because
same
of Chris
reasons?
And because of the proximity and because You know, a lot of times we're going to Epcot and Hollywood or Hopin or whatever, and it's nice to just kind of take a moment and chill out and just sit and relax and talk to him and
For us too,
or her or any of them.
Yeah, for us too. It has been one of the most communal bars. Like, how many times have we gotten into just random conversations? Almost every time.
Yep.
I feel like. So I do love that part about it. So since you weren't allowed to pick it, what is your second pick, which now has to be your first pick?
Scat Cats Club.
Wow.
With Steve.
Yeah. That
and
came out of nowhere,
because
too.
it's really cool when we were there with him and getting drinks from him. And then the best part is you can go right over to the cafe and get me some Mickey beignets.
Yeah.
So
that's another one that I think it has an atmosphere like nothing else on property. You know, you got the jazz music going in there.
Super fun.
I don't like jazz music.
Okay.
When I'm at Cats Club, I love jazz music. You know what I mean? Like, I would never in my life put on voluntarily jazz music. But when you're there, that setting and the vibe, and again, it's kind of dark and you've got a candle, lit at the table. It's absolutely amazing. And I really do love that. My second was Trader Sam's, just because it's Trader Sam's.
Oh, yeah. But golly, we haven't been there in a long time.
Long time.
Like, we will be going to.
Oh, yeah. We'll be there.
Cats.
We'll be there Thursday night.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
Okay. Let me ask you a question.
Beignets.
Why did Three Bridges not show up in your top two? Is there any specific reason? My only reason is proximity. As much as we absolutely love Three Bridges more than anything, it's not the easiest to get to.
And that's what I was just going to say. I think the reason I was putting these on, I was thinking like, how can you get there?
Yeah.
How can you get to the resort? Bar Riva, number one, because it's on the Skyliner. Scat Cat, because, yes, it is hard to get there. Like, you'd have to take a bus.
Yeah.
There is no other way.
Yeah.
It was literally because
you could
of
shoot over from
Steve.
Disney Springs. One of your best bets would have to be bus from your resort to Disney Springs and then boat over. It's probably your best way to get there.
Or if you're at Disney Springs and you're like, hey, I want
something different.
There you go.
Yeah, Three Bridges. If you're at a park, Three Bridges is very easy to get to. You go, you know what? It's 4:00. They open at 4:30. I want to go to Three Bridges for dinner, get drinks, whatever. All you do is hop on a Coronado bus. The problem is when you want to leave.
Yeah.
There is no direct way out of there to a resort. So you'd have to either Uber or Lyft, pay the money back to your resort. That's fine.
Right.
Or you're going to have to bus back to a park and then back to your resort, where timing becomes an issue. Even Bar Riva, if you're staying at All-Star, as long as you're watching the clock, you can leave Bar Riva, Skyline, back to Hollywood, and then take a bus from Hollywood to your All-Star resort.
Right.
So that's the only knock that Three Bridges gets, but I think it's a big one.
Unless you are on the Skyliner, like staying at Pop or any of those, and then you could from Three Bridges
bus to Hollywood
or Epcot, whatever.
Again, you're truly having to watch that time when they open at 4:30. You know what I mean? It's one thing if they opened at 11 a.m. and you're there at noon, you got all the time in the world. But if you're getting there after your park day, and they stay open till midnight, which is a huge bonus. But again, once midnight comes, you can't get back to your resort other than Uber or Lyft at that point.
Right.
So that's the only reason it didn't make mine. But obviously, if we were doing a top 5 bars and lounges episode, it's going to be up there for me, if not number one at that point. If we said, you know what, proximity doesn't matter. Let's pretend, you just get a little pixie dust sprinkled on your head and you automatically appear.
That'd be cool.
I think it's for sure number one. So we do have, I know, another Fab Five episode coming up soon. That was another listener recommendation. If anybody has any others, please hit us up on social media at Main ST Magic. We would love to hear what your ideas are. I really love this series. It's a lot of fun. We've tried to really balance episodes based on information or reviews and ones that we just have fun doing. And this comes on the fun side, but I still hope it adds value. Yeah. I still hope it's one where someone can go, that's a good point about how to get to and from Three Bridges or Bar Riva, or I never even thought of Scat Cats Club. Scat Cats or Scats Cat? I never get it right.
Scat Cats Club.
Okay. Sorry, Steve. Santos. We get to see Santos next weekend too. We have not seen him in a very long time.
I'm excited.
Since he moved from Riviera.
And are we staying at Riverside?
Yeah, we're staying at Riverside.
So then we'll have to go over to French Quarter.
Which I love. It is a beautiful walk.
Yeah.
You know, okay, I don't think this warrants a whole episode, but like top 5 walks of Disney.
Mm-hmm.
Riverside, all of Port Orleans.
Yep.
Coronado.
Yep.
Boardwalk.
Yep.
Probably number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm trying to think of just some others off the top of my head, but those 3 immediately popped in my mind as just amazing leisurely walks.
Polly
for sure. Just walking around that property. Yeah, that's a good one. Wilderness Lodge, but there's not really what I consider like a path in a normal sense. The way that like Coronado, it's very, here's A to B.
Yeah.
Boardwalk is very A to B.
Yep.
Port Orleans is A to B. So those types of things. But anyway, again, mainstmagic.com. Let us know what other ideas you have. And I discovered, thanks to Michael, that roasted hot coffee was pretty much the cause of my bad heartburn I was having. I was just feeling uncomfortable every day. And I did not realize that it releases a ton of acidity. And that's what was causing it. And so we moved to cold brew, got a fancy pitcher and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And what better coffee to use than the beans from Expedition Roasters. You can either get whole beans or you can get it ground.
Mm-hmm.
And they have these awesome art and story with every bag. And they're constantly coming out with new flavors. What we love about it most is that we enjoy flavored coffees, but the majority of ones you buy in the store are just, they taste artificial. Expedition does not. Mm-hmm. And if you would like to go ahead and brew your happy place with Expedition Roasters, like how I put that tagline in there, you can head to msnfriends.com. Go ahead and hit subscribe. You get these new episodes every Tuesday and Friday, and we would be absolutely so very thankful if you leave us a positive rating and review.
Because it'll help our show grow.
That's all we've got. See you real soon. You've been having real issues
I
with
almost
that one
said
lately.
go.
You almost said go again.
I did.
All right. That is officially all we have. So we will see you real soon.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.